And we've been talking about COVID-19 on this program now for almost 2 years, and it is no exaggeration at this point to say this is the worst New Hampshire has seen of the pandemic, and at least in the short term, there is no indication of relief. Numbers keep going up. Right now, hospitals are absorbing the full force of this deadly viral gut punch, and the medical community is desperately trying to convey to the public, and in particular, people who do not see or refuse to see the full scope of this crisis. Joining us this morning is Dr. Michael Calderwood, Chief Quality Officer at Dartmouth-Hitchcock. Doctor, thank you for joining us.
Happy to be here.
So, Doctor, what's the stress level right now on New Hampshire's hospitals, and how close are we to the edge of what that system, and more importantly, the people working in it, can endure?
So I think that's a really important question. I think it's important for us to really understand the numbers and get a sense of where we are and where we could be if we began to see vaccination rates increase beyond where they are today. I do want to frame this by saying that this is not just a New Hampshire crisis, but this is an ongoing crisis across the country. And we are today about to cross 800,000 individuals who've died from this virus in under a 2-year period. And to really frame that, you need to understand that that is more people that have died in the United States from HIV and AIDS in the 4 decades of that pandemic. And it has killed 1 in 415 Americans. Now, up until this point, we have seen spikes, but we have never been in as bad a spot as we are today. And so if we look at earlier this week, we reached 484 people who are hospitalized with COVID-19 in New Hampshire hospitals. And you have to remember, even now, as we've stood up additional hospital beds and additional staff, we are a small state and we only have around 3,000 hospital beds. And that 484 doesn't also account for those patients who have recovered from the period of their illness where they're infectious to others, but are still hospitalized. And that number is up to about 600. And that means 1 out of every 5 hospital beds in the state of New Hampshire is currently being used to care for patients with COVID-19 or the sequelae, where they're in the recovery period from COVID-19. And this is absolutely a giant stress on our system.
Doctor, is it possible for New Hampshire to run out of ICU beds, or are we close enough regionally to other states and other healthcare systems that it kind of just is able to keep pushing out a little bit?
So, and that's why I wanted to highlight at the beginning that this is really not just localized here, but all areas of the country are struggling with similar things. And this is impacting our ability to get staff. This is impacting our ability to transfer patients when we run out of beds to other areas where they may be cared for. We currently at Dartmouth-Hitchcock Medical Center have more patients on ventilators than we've had at any point in the history of our hospital. We are needing to turn away patients and find other areas for them to go. We are meeting the critical care needs of the state and trying to do everything we can to increase our capacity to take patients. But you hear stories every day of hospitals that are needing to call states, not adjoining, but in all areas of the country to find beds that may be available to take patients who need care.
Doctor, what's the status of non-COVID care right now? Obviously, there would usually, at any time of the year, been people with heart attacks and strokes and the like in the ICU. So where is that care, or where are those people going?
So this is the question. And so people continue to have heart attacks, continue to have strokes. We're heading into a winter season where we will see traumas from winter sports. We really are making sure that we can continue to provide the care for those acute events, but we're having to turn off many other services as we shift staff around, as we reserve beds. And I don't mean leave beds empty. I mean create new beds to meet this reality of COVID-19. And so we are at a point where we need folks to understand that everything else beyond COVID continues, but we are struggling to meet the demand of everything, both COVID and non-COVID. And we've got incredible staff that are dedicated to this on a daily basis. But as the COVID numbers continue to increase, you can see the wear and the tear on the people that have fought for 2 years to try and bring this under control. And we ask for those in the community to really think about what they can do to try and prevent the spread.
Doctor, why do you think mask use has declined so significantly? We know President Biden said months ago, essentially, get vaccinated so you can take off your mask. Did that present a little bit of a false choice, in your opinion?
Well, when this was being discussed, we were at a different point. And so we know that during the summer months when people can spend more time outside where there is less transmission, and as we began to see more and more people vaccinated, that the numbers were low enough that we could have times where you were without a mask. You need to understand that we need to pivot as those numbers change. And so as we go into a period where more people are congregating indoors, we've just come through the Thanksgiving holiday where we had many people celebrating together, and we saw a spike as expected after that holiday. And we're about to come up to another holiday where we may see similar gatherings and similar transmission. So you want to think about, are you vaccinated? Are you boosted? Those are the best things at this point you can do to lower your risk both of infection, or if you get infected, of having a severe illness that may lead you to hospitalization and or death. But masks, when you're out in the community, you don't know those around you. Are they vaccinated? Have they recently been traveling? Are they pre-symptomatic, or they may even be symptomatic and chosen to go out into the community? Masks are a really important added layer when there are those unknowns that are around you.
What's your level of concern right now, Doctor, with the Omicron variant?
We are getting a lot more information about the Omicron variant. I think what we are seeing is there is a lot more breakthrough infection, but those that have a breakthrough infection who are vaccinated and particularly have a booster, it's a fairly mild infection. And so while there is a slight decline in the effectiveness of the vaccine, it is recovered to a degree when you get that booster. And most certainly, it is preventing those who have severe illness and are requiring hospitalization and other levels of care. So while Omicron is likely to become the dominant variant in the United States over the next month, because it spreads quite quickly, we know that vaccines work, and we know that that is our best way to prevent, even if people have a breakthrough infection, the severe illness that can come from COVID-19.
We're hearing more now about some new treatments that will potentially be coming next year, an oral medication that could mitigate the worst of the COVID symptoms. Is this something we should get our hopes up about, or is it a wait-and-see situation?
No, I think there are very exciting data that are coming out around a few different therapies. And up till this point, the only thing that we've really had available for those who are not hospitalized are the monoclonal antibodies. And the monoclonal antibodies have been effective in trying to prevent those who test positive from COVID-19 from going on to becoming ill enough where they require hospitalization. But they often required coming in and getting an intravenous infusion and being observed for a period of time. And so it was difficult to get a lot of people through for that type of therapy. We now have this new oral medication, Paxlovid, that has very encouraging data. It is a lot of pills, and so this is not a replacement for vaccination. Folks need to realize that while it is a very effective medication, it is 2 different medications, 3 pills in the morning, 3 pills at night over 5 days, so 30 total pills that are part of this regimen. And so it is effective, but the most effective thing, and the thing that is the easiest at this point, is vaccination.
Well, Dr. Michael Calderwood of Dartmouth-Hitchcock, we thank you for your time on Close Up and wish you good fortune in the weeks ahead.
Thank you. Wonderful to be here.